Coming to you all the way from the city of Miami in the Sunshine State of Florida, bringing you the latest in the LGBTQ plus community, this is the FayWhat Show with your host, FayWhat!
Buenas noches, mi gente, and welcome to the FayWhat Show. FayWhat! We're going to have a fun show today. So our show's mission is to entertain, educate, and unite our community with real-life topics in a safe, positive, and fun environment. Because together we win, and divided we all fall. You know that. So our table topics are human topics, conversations that need to be had, and we want to have them in a fun, great environment. And we're not afraid to have some of these conversations. And today, we're talking to an inspiration in the LGBTQ community. She does it all and is always smiling while she represents our community. And she loves candy too, by the way. And
I got my stash.
She always got her stash. And then we'll end our show with a funny segment called The Gayest and Funniest Book Titles Ever. So let's get started. So we've got Rajee on the show, and I always mess up her name, but I'm going to try my best, okay? Rajee Narinesingh.
Yep, you did it, girl.
No, I didn't. Did I?
Narinesingh.
Narinesingh.
Yeah,
Okay.
you were close.
Rajee Narinesingh. All right, I love it. Okay, so Rajee is an American transgender activist, actress, author, singer, mystic, and reality TV personality. Rajee was born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and her father was of Asian Indian descent from the country of Trinidad and Tobago. And her mother is American. Also a little bit of French in there as well, right?
Yes.
You got the whole colors of
I got
Benetton.
everything, honey.
You got the United Colors of Benetton in Rajee. African American, Native American, and Polynesian. Rajee is most known for her appearances on talk shows such as Dr. Phil, Trisha Goddard, that's a TV series, Anderson Cooper, that sexy man, and about 35 other TV shows worldwide discussing her experiences with black market injections into her body, stuff that was passed off as medical grade silicone. And, she also has acted in a number of film productions and has a memoir out called Beyond Face Value. She also has appeared on seasons 2, 3, and 4 of the reality show Botched on E! Network. And that's awesome because when they do the best of Botched, they always use you.
Oh,
Always. Rajee's main focus is to continue to do her global activism and advocacy, touch the world in many positive ways, and spread the love in her own unique way. She really does do that. Help me welcome Rajee!
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, when you asked me to be on the show, I was like, yes, of course. FayWhat?
Oh
of course. And it's an honor. Thank you.
It's a privilege and an honor to know you.
I gotta send you the check in the mail because, honey, that introduction was
liked
spectacular.
It was everything, right? Was everything.
If only a lot of the other community would be saying that. But anyway, we won't go there.
We won't go there. Everywhere you go from now on, I'll go in and host. And now Rajee's coming. She's coming to McDonald's to order a Happy Meal. You know Rajee from Botched, season 2, 3, and 5. No, Rajee, you really are incredible. I mean,
Thank you.
Me, like God, the rest of the world has seen you on Botched and knew you from that. But then when I got the chance to know you as a person, as a human, as a girl, it was completely different. Like, you're so spiritual and you're so positive and you've been through so much shit. Yes, you still are able to smile every day.
Yeah. I mean, thank you. I try to keep an optimistic view on life and look at the glass half full instead of half empty. And I find that being that way kind of helped me get through those hard times, because there were moments where I didn't think I was going to be able to get through. But I believe that my spirituality and my optimism and my happy-go-lucky spirit has been one of the major things that have gotten me through.
Oh, no, that has saved your ass. It has to have. Were you always like that, Rajee? Like when you were a little brown boy in Brooklyn, when you were up north in Pennsylvania, like were you always that optimistic?
Yeah, when the little girl was wanting to come out, but she hadn't come out yet. I have always been that way, and I believe that it's a gift from God. I really do. I
Because
remember.
we all know people that like walk around with that cloud over their head. We all have that one
Yes.
friend. You know what I mean? That like sucks the life out of you with their
Exactly.
energy because it's always so negative, and that's just not you. I could be having a bad day. Anybody in the room could be having a bad day, and Rajee comes in, and all of a sudden, like you feel dumb that you feel like you're having a bad day. You know, because you bring in the happiness.
Well, thank you, thank you. I remember being a little kid and the kids in school asking me, "What are you so happy about? Why are you always smiling?" And I went home and I said, "Mom, the kids are saying that I smile too much." And she was like, "You tell them that it takes more muscles to frown than to smile." My mom always had like some really like inspirational message to tell me, you know, to give me. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So we said at the beginning of the show that you were like United Colors of Benetton because
Yeah.
you have Asian, Polynesian, Black. You have everything.
I'm
Everything.
the what you call the United Nations. I'm a product of the United
You
Nations.
really are. You really are. Do you think that
Maybe that's why I'm an overheated bitch. Sorry, excuse my French.
we're okay. You can say bitch on the FayWhat show.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, but no, because, you know, excuse the fan, you all, but honey, I get hot.
No, she gets hot. And
I have my hot
the
flashes.
gay boy that I hired to fan her was late, so you know she's got to fan herself, of course. You know, so you've got all this incredible background. Do you think that this happiness that just kind of comes out of you comes from any one of those countries? Because there's a lot of seriousness in a lot of those countries.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. You know what I would say? I think that all of everything that I am makes me who I am, right? So it all kind of like mixed up and it made Rajee. But I believe that my spirit is really where it's at. And that's where my optimism comes from. It's my spirit.
It really is.
Yeah, and spirit transcends ethnicity big time, you know?
And
Yeah.
you feel that you've always had that for a little.
Yeah, to the point that I felt like people resented it. You know, the kids, again, they were saying like, "What are you so damn happy about?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, I couldn't help it. It's just that's just me, you know? And sometimes I like have to hold back because like, I know that like, I had a friend, well, we're still friends, but when we were growing up, he pulled me aside one day and he's like, "Raj, you're too nice." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You gotta toughen up a little bit because people are just like taking advantage and walking over you." So, you know, life kind of gets you a little, you know, tougher as you
Yeah.
come along. And I've learned to kind of balance it now.
Yeah, but you can't carry around shit that happens with you everywhere you go. Like your friends saying you're too nice or why are you always smiling?
Right.
Like, you know, you've got to be like Teflon and let some of that shit go or you're going to walk around a very sour, salty person. You know?
Sour and salty, and you're going to be in the corner with a dribble cup, honey. Because let me tell you, I had to realize years ago that it's impossible to please everyone. You just can't do it. If you go left, they're saying, "Why didn't you go right?" If you go right, there's going to be people saying, "Why didn't you go left?" You have to, and I think each and every one of us on the planet have our moments in our life journey where you just have to stand in your truth and say, "You know what? Who cares what everyone else
I'm not
thinks?"
perfect,
Yeah.
but not everyone's going to love me, just like not everyone's going to hate me, and I've got to be okay with that.
Exactly.
Right? And I think it's that little people pleaser
Yes.
effect that we have inside of us. And I think it's a huge
Exactly.
thing, especially in the LGBTQ community, because we grow up pretending to be something we're not.
Well,
most of us do, right?
The thing is, Faye, I think that LGBTQ people grow up with a lot of shame because we're in families that are telling you what you are is wrong.
Yeah.
Our community is saying it, the kids in school, the world.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of shame that I think we LGBTQ people, not everyone, but I would say a good percentage, deal with. And for me, speaking for myself, I had a lot of that shame I had to work through. You know, feeling like I had to apologize for my beingness.
you.
Yeah. Apologize for being me, for my beingness. "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, or like having to hide myself. And honey, this is hard to hide. Honey, this is very hard to hide. It ain't nothing hiding here. Peekaboo.
Rajee doesn't blend. You know what I mean? Where you're like, "Oh, just blend in."
That has never happened.
Never.
Never.
Rajee, did you move around a lot as a kid, or did you just stay in Philadelphia?
No, actually, okay, so I was born in Brooklyn, and I was only there 6 weeks, and then my parents went to Philly, and I grew up in Philly. And when I was about 21, I left home. It was getting a little hot in the house with my dad and I,
So he wasn't a firm supporter of...
At
that time, did you know that you wanted to transition, or was it that you were coming out to your parents as gay?
Okay, so this is the thing. I'm a lady of a certain age. Let's just say I've been around the block a few times. And in our day, there weren't computers. You couldn't go online and Google, what does it mean when you're a boy, but you feel like a girl? Information wasn't easily accessible.
It wasn't fluid like
it wasn't.
Now.
No, not at all. And so, most of us were in our insulated communities. Like, you were in your community with your family, you went to school, you came home. You didn't have the exposure, I would say, for the majority of us. So I didn't even know what trans was. There was nothing to really reference, but I could reference the fact that, I'm probably gay. And I'm probably...
You knew you were different.
Yes. And I'm probably an effeminate gay boy. And, they were calling me faggot at 5.
Wow.
4 and 5, it started faggot and sissy, and I'm like, what do these names mean? I didn't know what they meant, but I didn't like the way they made me feel because of the energy behind it. Of
course.
Yeah, and I remember I was like 4 years old looking up at my neighbor, Mr. Pembleton. Shout out to Mr. Pembleton,
what up, dude?
Philadelphia, PA. And I said to him, Mr. Pembleton, what does faggot mean? And he looked down at me, and he didn't answer the question, but just based on the way he looked at me, he's like, why on earth are you asking me that question? And I said, well, that's what all the kids are calling me. And he says, you don't pay attention to what those kids are saying. And based on that response, I knew whatever faggot was couldn't be a good thing, And so that was the beginning of many years of relentless bullying. I mean, I would say that I feel like I've been in a gender war all my life, because I never fit the bill, for what being male meant.
Yes.
I just never did it, even when I quote unquote tried to conform a little bit, which wasn't.
Did you try to conform? So did you try to date girls and stuff like that?
FayWhat! Okay, let me tell you. I dated one girl in high school, right? 2 weeks, okay? And I dated her because I wanted to be her. I thought she was so pretty. And so I dated her because I wanted to be her. And then, honey, when the moment came, because I was trying to stall about the kissing, so 2 weeks in...
I got herpes. I can't kiss you,
Oh, my God. I was like this with her. Now, if it was a boy, I would have been like, I just was so awkward. And the kiss told her everything. That was the end of it.
And that was
that was that. And that's it. But it was only because I was infatuated with her, and I wouldn't say I was sexually aroused. It was just like this infatuation, like she was so pretty to me.
You were enamored by her beauty, and you could see, but how do you figure out those feelings when there is not all that information, And that's why I was talking to David before the show about, people think that we have a choice when we decide to be gay, lesbian, bi, transsexual, transgender. It's like, are you kidding? Why would we put ourselves through all that,
Exactly. You know what? The only choice that I made, everyone, is to be real about who I am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the choice I made. I didn't choose to be trans. I am trans.
No, the world, the universe, our higher power, whoever made us.
Yes.
And they don't make no mistakes.
Hello?
That's the bottom line.
Should we do a shimmy?
Rajee Poopy shimmy. We're going to start it now. We're going to have everybody do it every week.
But it's true. It's true. You're so right, Faye. It's like, and I say to straight people, heterosexual people, when did you wake up and decide to be straight? You didn't.
You didn't.
You just are.
Yeah.
There's no decision.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same for us, And so I am so happy, as hard as my life has been, Faye, that I didn't live in a social prison. I didn't allow myself to be put into a social prison because I know there's people out there that want to live their authentic truth, but for whatever reason, they just can't.
Well, and that's what we encounter all the time, and I know that you've encountered it too in our own friend circle, where it's
Yeah.
people that because of certain situations that they've been through, now they want to be salty to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and so like now everybody else is paying the price for something that maybe something happened back
Exactly.
then. I read an article where somebody had interviewed you and you told the story about being pulled off a bus and beat
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And you were a teenager still when
I
that
was-
happened. You were 18,
Yeah, I was
right?
18.
Like how do you
Oh,
come?
girl, you
I
did your
did do
homework.
I've been doing my research, girl. I don't get to sit here just like that.
You did your research. Yeah, and I'll tell you, not only was I physically broken that day, I was mentally and spiritually broken because it happened during rush hour, about 5 o'clock in the evening at a busy part of Philadelphia called Broad and Olney. It's where all the buses and trains connect.
Like a Port Authority kind of
Yeah, kind of like that. And it was about probably 50 people that watched me get beat up. And I know people are scared. I get it. They didn't want to get involved. But for the 18-year-old me, I was so hurt. I was embarrassed. And it was 6 boys. And they literally pulled me off a bus. And what hurt me even more was 2 weeks later, my good friend Brian, who I went to high school with, he heard through the grapevine that there was a girl on the bus from our school, and she saw the whole thing. And she asked one of the guys, hey, like, why did you do that to him? And his response was, well, he's a faggot, and faggots deserve to die.
Wow.
And when I heard that, oh my God, I mean, that that hurt me more, than the black eye had and, all of that. But it's, they say if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And so I just,
You
sometimes.
came back from that, though.
Yeah,
Like, how do you come back from that? Like, you've got to give yourself credit where credit is due, Rajee. Many of us would have, included me, if that would have happened to me, I think I would have gone into, like, seclusion for a bit, and maybe thought, maybe this is not the right path. Maybe I won't be my true, authentic self, and I'll just live. There's plenty of gay people out there living straight lives that are in the closet because they don't feel, they're fearful.
That's true. That's true.
And you didn't allow that to stop you. Even after that, you still wanted to transition.
Yeah, and the thing is I have to pinch myself sometime because when I think about those different experiences that I had and I lived through, I can't even believe sometimes that I'm here.
Because you're supposed to be here. Because somebody else that same situation could have killed somebody else in like spiritually and physically.
Yes.
Okay, they could have taken that beating a little further and you probably wouldn't be sitting here today, but you've got to send this message out. That is why you're sitting here.
Exactly. And that was the first physical attack of 3 in my life. And there was a really bad one in 2000, the year 2000. And, I think literally I had to fight for my life. And my life, I mean, literally, it flashed before my eyes that night. I really thought I was going to die. And, I laid in my bed and I was pleading with God. I was like, God, why? Because I was blaming myself. Like, if I wasn't this way, this stuff wouldn't be happening to me.
Yeah.
And I was pleading and crying, just that gut-wrenching, uncontrollable cry. And, in that moment, I thought, if I had died, would I have died knowing that I tried to do something for me and my people? I've always been like an activist. From high school, I volunteered at the Red Cross and the community hospital and the United Way. But that was the moment that I decided I have to really put my focus on my trans activism. Because, you can complain about things all day.
Of course.
You can sit down and complain, or you can stand up and try and do something about it.
And speak for the voiceless. When you were telling me the story about the boys, on the bus, them telling you faggot and everything, my first thought was, and now these decades later, and people are still doing that.
I know.
Like, have we really come that far?
Exactly.
That's what we need more Rajees in the world to get beat down, but stand up and fight.
Thank you.
And fight.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you said a little before, if those things didn't happen to you, you wouldn't have these stories to scream from the highest mountains like you do now.
Amen, Faye. Amen. Yeah. Every single thing that I've been through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, makes me who I am in this very moment. And I know that I'm here for a purpose.
You are. Let's talk a little bit about Botched, okay? Because you are, like, by far the most recognizable person.
Oh.
No, that's not, it's the truth. It's not a compliment. It's the real truth. They've had a lot of people. Please drink some water. They've had a lot of people on Botched. They've had, you know, a million trillion seasons. Dr. Terry Dubrow and Paul Nassif, which they're cuties.
Oh, they are.
Adorable?
And they're so sweet.
For, like, older white guys, they're cute.
Yeah, and they're so nice. And me and Dr. Dubrow, Terry Dubrow, oh my God.
He took a liking to you. I mean,
Yes.
this is, you know, again, they cut and paste what viewers see and what actually, you know, really it was a longer period of time that you got to spend with them.
Oh,
right?
definitely. I was out there for one particular filming for about 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know, when it's condensed into TV, you know, there's a lot of stuff you don't see once things are edited.
Yeah.
You know, but he's a ham, I'm a ham. We just had this connection. And God bless him. I mean, he literally, in a way, he gave me a brand new lease on life because I was walking around with a pretty disfigured face.
How did you get to that? And I know that a lot of that happened here in Miami because it was all over the news and it was, you wanted to transition and, you know, and like a lot of our sisters, they get the hormones that are illegal. They get the hormones, however, because it's healthcare sucks. It's super expensive.
Exactly.
So you wanted to get fillers. You wanted to get some injections to like just chisel out your face or what was it?
Well, you know, okay, so lack of resources, big time. You know, I always say Caitlyn Jenner isn't the typical transgender woman story. You know, I give her props for what she has done for our community.
She hasn't done shit.
Well, okay, let me just say this thing. Okay, this is what I think she did for the community because of her status and the fame and her being like an Olympic athlete and the resources and all of that she had. I think when she came out, she made Joe Blow in Alabama stop, even if it was just for one moment, and look at our community. Someone that wouldn't even given two hoots and even stopped a minute to look.
Because a lot of those people looked at Bruce Jenner like
yes,
the greatest Olympian of all time, like ever in the world, and then for this gentleman to become
and I think that was a wake-up call to the world.
You're
they
right.
were like, what?
Thank you for opening my eyes. I think that is a true point.
So that's what I think she did. But again, she's not the typical story because, you know, many trans women don't have the resources that she had or has. So for me, it was lack of resources. I was on hormones, living as a woman, but I just felt like I wasn't feminized enough. And, you know, back then, it was almost a rite of passage. Like, if you didn't go get pumped, you know, black market injections, the other girls in the community were almost looking at you like side-eye, like, what's wrong with you? Are you taking this serious? Because really...
Like, what are you waiting for? Like,
right. And I got some of that, you know, so it was a bit of peer pressure. But more than that, it was me just wanting to fully match my outside with the way my insides felt, with the way I felt inside. And
you went to this person. This person had already done fillers to friends of yours or acquaintances?
Right. And that's the thing about our community. A lot of it is word of mouth. And I heard about this person. I had seen a few girls that have gotten work done. It looked great. And I went and I started with my face because the face is the first thing, you know, people see when you go out in public. Unless you're in Afghanistan. God bless Afghanistan. That's a whole nother...
That's a whole other show.
Yeah,
we'll have to go on that.
But, you know, and then I worked my way down. I did my face initially I looked really beautiful.
Okay.
It came out nice because that's the thing. You get the result and you get it quickly, but down the road is where all hell can break loose. So I did my face, I did my breasts, I worked my way down. I did my hips and my buttocks. I was on my butt, working on my butt, getting pumped when I had the horrible reaction in my face. And for me, it was only about a year and a half in. So it happened early. There's some girls I know that like 15, 20 years down the road, they're fine. And then all of a sudden their body starts to reject it.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So they can think they're fine, but then 20 years down the road, you're having problems.
Yeah.
Because it's a foreign substance inside of you, and the body can at any time be
Negate it. I don't want this
yeah,
in my life.
like what the hell is this?
And,
like, yeah.
And what was the combination of stuff that you were being injected? I heard cement. I heard tire something.
Yeah,
sealant,
tire
something.
sealant. Yeah. Okay. So I went to her a number of times. I don't know if each time, each concoction that she made up was the same, but what I was told is that it was industrial strength silicone that you'd buy at like Home Depot, you know, for like corking.
Oh my God.
Along with mineral oil. And that's what made it look like real silicone, because the mineral oil has that same look as silicone. And then she used crazy glue to plug it up. But I've heard other stuff she was using too, and who knows what's in here, or my hips or my butt, because right now I've been stable and the doctors feel like I should leave. They say leave sleeping dog lie. Like if it's not bothering you. I mean, I get some pain from time to time in my breast and my hips and my buttocks, but it's not like every day and it comes and it goes.
You've had a lot of repair surgery since then with these guys with Dr.
on
Nassif,
my face.
You had a few with them.
I had in total, I had 9 surgeries on my face.
Wow.
And this is what I got.
No, but if
no. Listen.
Listen,
No, I've come a long way. I know, because it was pretty bad.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
If you look, if you can look up Rajee on Google, and a bunch of stuff will come up, and you see like right when she started getting the reactions to it.
Yeah, it
your
was bad.
face was like
bad.
so big, like
It was big
it was
and swollen,
heartbreaking.
and I had lumps, literally. And my face was hard as a rock. It was hard as rock.
Wow.
The first surgery I had with Dr. Martin here in Coral Gables, he, oh my God, I was on the table for 4 hours, and he couldn't cut through anything. His scalpel broke.
Oh my God.
It was that hard.
Wow.
He could barely cut through. And thankfully, as years went by, he was giving me different treatments that by time I got to botch, it was like almost like the consistency of a tire. So then you could kind of cut through it more.
Okay.
Than when I first went, it was like rock.
Wow.
It was hard as a rock.
And what did, I mean, I saw the episodes, but what did the botch doctors like tell you future-wise? I mean, because they really wanted to help you. They were like on a mission.
Yeah. Well, I would say definitely when I look at pictures, and you all can Google me and you'll see the before and the after, I've come a long way. But I know it will never be perfect, and I have what I call my outbreaks, where I think if I get really stressed, I'll start to get like little nodules that form, because the reality is with these injectables, they inject it right into your system, and what happens is it mixes with your tissues and your nerves, so they can't just go in and hack you up.
It's intertwined with all your stuff.
And so they have to intricately go in and like little by little take out. And Dr. Dubrow was nervous about a certain nerve in my face that would actually have had my mouth twisted. And honey.
And he loved your smile, so he didn't
loved
want
my
that to
smile,
be affected.
And look at the smile. and listen, and Lord knows I love to run my mouth, okay? So I would have been a mess.
You would have been like super depressed, for sure.
I would have.
For sure. How do you feel about like, okay, when you said that, so you're going to leave the rest alone?
Well, for now.
Okay.
For now, because honestly,
it's a lot.
I would love to like maybe lift these up a little bit. But
I know a lot of boys that were like, they're fine just how they are.
Oh, let me tell you. Clang, 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 clang. Let me tell you. They're like, some of the guys that I'm with, they're like, oh my God, your breasts are like so natural, like an older woman that's had babies. I said, yeah, like 15 of them.
God. Well, guys say, seriously, what is wrong with that?
Oh, listen, I had this one guy say to me after we did our do, he was getting dressed and he looked at me and he says, you know, being with you is like being with a sexy dragon. And I looked at him and I'm like, I said, I don't know whether to slap you or kiss you.
Exactly. Like, what do you say to that? Thank you, I think. You know what I mean?
A sexy dragon.
A sexy dragon.
But listen, my Chinese friend told me, oh, take it as a compliment. In our culture, dragons are mystical.
Mystical, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So...
And he said, oh, babe, no, I mean it as a compliment because at that time I had no corrective surgery, so my face was humongous. But I would do my makeup and I kind of became like a character. And so some guys were into that.
Like a fetish kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like a fetish character. Yeah, because he was like, oh, you're like a sexy dragon.
Oh. I was gonna ask you about that a little bit later, but let me ask you that now. Like, so have your relationships been with men that like saw you on Botched and that's why?
Okay, so listen,
you've probably seen them all.
It's
though.
oh
I can
my
imagine.
God, oh my God.
And like, how does Rajee date? Like, you can't go on Grindr and Match. So like, how do you date? Like, how does that work for you?
Okay, so well, I do happen to have a grinder, but listen,
scruff, baby, scruff.
But you know what happened? I didn't have one for the longest, and I was at a conference in DC in 2019, and everyone was like on their phones hooking up. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, Grindr. I'm like, Grindr? What is? They're like, Rajee, you don't have Grindr?
Oh.
You did? So they told me how to start an account and everything.
Yeah,
but,
they told her how to start an account.
No, because I honestly hadn't been on it. But then when I got on, I was like, oh my
Where you
Lord.
been all my life? You know, homeboy is 2 feet away. I'm there. You know.
I know it kills me when they say, "Oh, 500 steps away or 1,000 steps away."
You know what I mean? You're at Hunter's, you're in Wilton, and it's like 500 feet away, and you're looking around.
Yeah. So anyway, with dating, and it's always been, even when my face was at its worst, I always had guys that were, hitting me up. They wanted to be with me.
But your personality is so like big and beautiful and wonderful.
You know what? Oh my God. I was on Howard Stern and Isis King was on with me. And you all, I don't know if you all know Isis King.
Yeah.
So Howard said to me, do you get jealous like when you see someone as beautiful as Isis? So I said to him, I said, no. I said, I'm happy for her. She's a younger trans woman and, she's being able to live her life and all. So he said, yeah. He said, guys want to fuck her because she's pretty. And he said, Rajee, guys want to fuck you because you're just so damn nice. And I was like,
that's coming from Howard Stern, guys.
I was like, okay. Well, I'll take the compliment.
No, but it's a huge, but think about it. No, almost nobody knows who Isis is now, today.
Yeah.
And you did Botched a million years ago and people still know who you are.
It's funny. I think about that too, because I say to myself, my God, when I was like going through my really like worst times with my face, who would have thought I would have been on all these TV shows and done all that? But see, that's the magic of God Universe. When you have a purpose and you ask like God Universe to lead you, because I had this thing in me, even though I had moments where I wanted to give up and even moments where I felt like, committing suicide. I had those moments. But I had this thing inside of me that was like, no, Rajee. Every single person on the planet is here for a reason. Every single person, doesn't matter who you are. And I held on to that, Faye.
You did.
And I said, God, I know that I'm here for a reason. And lead me. Like I want to be able to use my story and touch people the best way I can. And I mean, I think about
and
it.
you are doing that.
And this is the thing. I sit here today and I think, God, if I had committed suicide, I would have missed out on so many wonderful things. Mm-hmm. I would have missed out on sitting here with you, interviewing
you.
Yeah.
You know?
And, yes.
I mean, when I met you at the studio at Queer News Tonight, that you guys know that I'm on that show too, I was like, oh my God, Rajee.
Yeah.
Like Rajee from Botched? Like for real? And then just talking to you, I was like, then that became like substandard. It was you, like you know, your activism, your life coaching. I mean, you can guide anybody with what you've been through. And you've always got something positive to say. We could be at a round table talking about Trump. We could be talking about anti-trans laws. We could be talking about Chick-fil-A and their hate sandwiches. And you will come back and you will say, but we're all here and the colors are vibrant and tomorrow's another day. And I'm like, wow, like how did you do that?
You know, it's amazing because, you know, I had done all the like talk show circuit and stuff. But reality TV is a whole nother level. When I did Botch for the first time and it came out, I didn't realize the magnitude of what that meant. It was big. My first Wilton Manors Pride, my mom was down here visiting, and I took her with me to the Pride. Literally, it Botched, my first season, had just come out a few weeks before. And the love, I couldn't even walk like 5 to 10 steps and I was being stopped.
Wow.
And I said, my God, this is really taking it to a whole other level. And then I didn't even think about the world. You know, like it
global,
airs
girl,
global.
Yeah.
It airs like in so many countries around the world. So I get like a flood of messages from Venezuela. I know it must be airing in Venezuela. Then Brazil. Oh, it must be airing in Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, Australia. I mean, literally Africa, India. And not only from LGBTQ people, but from like people that you would least expect. Like I was in an airport.
White folks in Oklahoma.
Yes! Oh my God! Let me tell you, I was in an airport traveling out to LA. And I was sitting in the terminal, and this little old white lady from probably Oklahoma, she shuffles over to me, and she says, "Pardon me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I recognize you. I know who you are, and I just wanted to thank you. You're such an inspiration." And I'm thinking, well, first of all, it was an honor, and I was so humbled. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking, what does this little white lady, you know, what does she see in me? But see, that goes to show you. Everyone, no matter who you are, can relate to strife and struggle.
Yes, and marginalization and being bullied and not feeling like you can be your true self, even if it's, you know, my parents are vegetarian and I like meat. You know, everybody can relate, you know what I mean, to something.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to trans women that have decided not to go the backyard way to get fillers because they saw you on Botched and they saw what you had to go through.
Now, you know, Faye, when I get messages like that, I swear, it almost makes all the pain and suffering I went through worth it. It almost makes it worth it because I'm like, yeah, because I say, my God, I was able to use something bad that happened to me to educate people, to you know, to warn them, to advocate, you know.
Do you forgive Duchess for doing this?
I do. You know, there's a part of me that feels sorry for Duchess. I didn't press charges. The police wanted me to press charges, and I just told them no. And they were looking at me like I was crazy. But I felt like if I was going to use my energy, why not use it to do my advocacy and my activism? I mean, what can I... The only thing, if it could have been a civil case and I got some
money out of it,
but I mean, like, really, you know... And, you know, Duchess had her own crosses to bear with the other cases, the criminal, the manslaughter case, and then there was a case in Miami.
Because of the person who died, right?
Right. So I do feel sorry for her. I hope that, life is a lesson we learn in our journey, and I hope that when she gets out, she can go on to do some great things.
Let's talk about your advocacy. You're
Let's
working.
talk about advocacy. Let's talk about.
That didn't even go, but it goes good. I know that you are working with TransSocial.
Yes,
Right?
I am.
Okay, and that is like that makes a lot of sense. Like that route is just perfect for you. Tell me what you do with them over there.
Oh my God. So
That's with Morgan and them.
Yes, Morgan and
Morgan,
Ashley.
we love you.
Yes, Morgan and Ashley Mayfair. Well, okay, so I've been in the community doing advocacy for about 24 years, 20 through 24, the LGBTQ community. And I've worked with so many different organizations, Pride Line in Miami back in the 90s, the Pride Center, SunServe. I mean, just all
fantastic organizations.
Exactly.
Down here. Yes.
The Yes Institute.
Yes.
Oh my God. Many years of speaking with them. But all of that has led me to me doing work with TransSocial now. And I work as an outreach advocate for them. They have been such a blessing to my life in many ways. And so TransSocial, the thing I love about TransSocial, even before I started working with them, is they have this grassroots vibe about them.
Yes.
And even before working with them as an advocate, I went to them for different resources, like when I was trying to get my passport. The female on my passport, gender marker.
The gender marker.
Yeah, and they took me by the hand. They met me at the passport office.
Because all those papers and all those forms can be so confusing and scary, like to the point where it's like, F it, I'm not going to do it because it's too much.
Exactly, and that's what I mean about the grassroots vibe. They're expanding, to other states, and even globally they're doing some work, but they still have that grassroots vibe about them.
Yeah.
And so, I've been able to do outreach in the community with gift cards for groceries, also assistance with utility bills. If there's a trans person that's going through a hard time and their light bill is going to, the lights are going to go off, we have grants for that. During the holiday, we did care bags for trans women and men. A lot of the gender marker processes, TransSocial, poor Ashley Mayfair. Oh my God, every time I talk to her and check in weekly, she's like, oh my God, Rajee, I'm swamped. Because, it's a process.
Yes.
But, there's so much going on at TransSocial. And then we're working on Trans Pride for November.
Which is going to be fantabulous.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to split up the trans men and women, but I'm going to ask, do you think it's easier for a trans man to go on this journey than it is a trans woman?
Okay. Ooh.
I know.
I don't want to get in trouble, honey.
I know.
The community's going to be outside the studio.
Don't be mad at us. You know that we always ask the questions that need to be asked.
Well, they're going to be outside the studio waiting for me. No, okay, so let me just say it like this. I think that anyone's struggle and journey has to be honored. So, anyone's injustice, discrimination, struggle, how can I sit here and say, oh, your struggle is less and mine is, than mine. But I will say this. If you look at the double standard with male and female, let's take a look at that. When you're little and you see two girls walking down the street holding hands, people don't bat an eye.
Nope, not even.
But if you see two little boys doing it, people are going to look like, wait a minute. So right from the beginning, there's like a double standard. Faye, there's something about being born male in this world and negating your maleness, to the world. Like and I think for trans male to females and also very effeminate gay males, we get it pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because there's just this thing of like, how dare you
not be a real man.
Right. And negate your maleness in a quote unquote man's world.
Yeah.
And look at sexuality. Guys, heterosexual alpha male guys will think two chicks, that's hot. You know,
That's true.
You know, but two men. Oh my God! Oh, let's kill them.
Except for me, because I love to watch two boys have sex. But that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show.
I knew you were special. I knew you were special. That's why I love you so much.
I love you, Raj.
But I think with trans men, they transition easier because
They're more passable.
Yeah, they are, because that testosterone is a mother freaker. It's a strong hormone. And so if they're putting it in their body, they're growing the hair, a lot of them just look like little men, but they pass.
Yes.
For trans women, trying to reverse the testosterone, that can be pretty difficult. That's why there's this debate with younger trans people starting the blockers before the testosterone hits with male to females.
Got it.
Because once the testosterone hits, it's very hard to reverse it.
We could do a whole show on just the trans journey.
I
think
know.
that Morgan has agreed to come on the show soon. Maybe I'll have you come on with him because it's a great. There's just so much stuff there. There's so much juicy stuff.
Can we make
that
a Morgan sandwich?
Oh my God!
We can put him in the middle.
Morgan's already like, yes. In between all those boobies, I'm in, right? I love Morgan.
Yeah, yes.
Tell me real quick about Translation. I mean, it's a super cool View kind of show that you're on with a bunch of trans hosts, correct?
Yeah. So when I was asked to be a part of Translation, I was like, wow, this is something progressive for our community, because it's something that really hasn't been done yet. And I just think that it's almost like The View or The Real or The Talk with a trans flair. And I mean, we do some really good topics. It's not all serious. I think it's very entertaining. But most importantly, is that it's progressive for our community. And that's why I wanted to become or take part in it. When they asked me to be a host, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Because, anything that's going to help move our community forward.
And normalize. This is our lives. This is normal life for us people, For many, it's not. And this might be the first show that somebody that has never met a trans person sees.
Exactly.
And then sees the real that you guys bring, because you guys are just yourselves. It's not a script. It's not, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm this person. When you're there, you cry, you laugh, you scream at people, you have a blast, and you're your true authentic self.
And we have stuff to say.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think for a lot of non-LGBTQ people, and even some LGBTQ people, when they get to know us, they realize, wow. I think, when you get beyond the whole trans thing, for a lot of people, and you really connect with my content of character and who I am as a person and what I feel about things, I mean, it just takes it to a whole nother level. And I think there's a bridge of understanding no matter who you are in the world. So I hope that, it grows. I'm going to tell you one thing. When I'm on my deathbed, no one can say I didn't try.
Yes.
I mean, I won't be able to say woulda, coulda, shoulda, because I said to myself, when it's my time to leave, I want to be able to leave knowing that I really made my own unique impact on the world.
And you did.
Yeah.
And you are. And you do it every day. And what's lovely about you, among many other reasons why you're lovely, Rajee, is that you're attainable, you're reachable, you're relatable. Anybody stops you on the street, you stop and talk to them. Random people. Follow her on social media. She's constantly taking pictures with random people. Just like, hey, I went to go buy a blanket and I met Charles. Let's take a picture. And I'm like, you just made this guy's freaking life,
I'm going to tell you, I feel like if someone is taking time out of their busy day to give me love and, give me my props and say, oh my God, I saw you on TV, or oh my God, whatever, I love you, or thanks for inspiring me. I can take the time to, connect with that person. And it humbles me. It humbles me. I don't take any of that for granted.
I love you. And you don't. And you see your purpose. I love that. Now, will you do me a favor for our viewers? Will you look into the camera and tell somebody that's maybe in Oklahoma that feels that they're different? Maybe they're told by their church that they're going to go to hell and their parents are going to disown them. And they're thinking that they will never be able to be their true, authentic self. What words would you have for them?
Yeah, I'm going to first of all say it's easier said than done. I had a lot of naysayers, and I still do. But one thing that I found is so powerful is to focus on the good and the positive and the love, because even if there's that one person that's supporting you and cheering you on, well, then that's the person you focus on, because you don't want to give power to the negative people, the people that are saying that you're an abomination and you're going to hell and et cetera, all the negative things. If we look at nature, even in nature, there's so much diversity, right? We have the male seahorse that carries the babies, right? There's the parrotfish that's male and female together. Oysters.
Yeah.
The butterfly that starts as a cocoon and transitions into a beautiful butterfly. I actually look at that beautiful creature as like a comparison with trans people.
Very similar. Beautiful caterpillar that turns into their true, authentic butterfly self.
Yes. And so, if you look around at nature, and we human beings are a part of nature, right? Why wouldn't we human beings be diverse? So you hold on to that and know that what your natural self is and what you feel naturally is valid, okay? And you might have to, listen, we're born into families, and I have family that doesn't accept me, that don't want to be bothered with me because I'm trans, but I have a lot of family that does, that embrace me, that's in my corner. So guess what? The family that doesn't accept me, I get far away from. You can love them from afar, but you want to surround yourself with people that are going to uplift you. That's going to, they're going to inspire you, encourage you, that are going to believe in you. So sometimes you have to create your own family. And if you're in some remote area, I would reach out to an LGBTQ center. Maybe it's in the city next to where you're at, but try and reach out, because there's so many resources for LGBTQ people today. So don't do it alone. Reach out, connect, because the worst thing is to feel like you're alone in the world. And one of the great things for me is when I started going to like the trans support groups, I was like, oh my God, there's other people that feel like I feel or have had similar experiences like I have had. That's empowering. Never negate yourself. We are all divine miracles of God universe. We all are, despite what anyone says. We're walking miracles.
Oh, I love you, Rajee. What is it that you usually say? Love, blessings. What is it that you say? Say it.
I say love, happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, and many wonderful blessings.
I love it. All right. Thank you, Rajee, for being on the show. Will you stay with us for the next segment? We're going to have a little funny segment.
Sure.
I'd love for you to stay on with us. FayWhat? Make sure that you follow Rajee on all social media platforms. She's on everything. And, show her some love. Send her a message. She's just always great about responding and just saying hello. We need more Rajees. I need to, copy her in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, so now it's the time where we have our funny, fun segment here on the FayWhat Show. And today's segment is the gayest and funniest book titles. All right? And here we go. Number 1, D's Big Nuts. Take that in. So sit back and enjoy this children's book parody about a squirrel named D and his friends that love his big nuts. Each page will have you laughing and going nuts. This may look like a typical children's book, but once the book opens, you will enjoy references that only adults will understand. My friend D loves my big nuts. Wait a minute. David, can you say that for me?
My friend D loves my big nuts.
No, you've got to come over here and say it to the camera. Say it. Say it.
My friend D loves my big nuts.
All right.
Hey, I could say it too. My friend D loves my big nuts.
Next book. The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish.
Ooh.
Do you love that? The hips on the drag queen
go
go
swish, swish, swish. Swish, swish, swish. Swish, swish, swish.
The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish. All the way to the palace. offers a quirky twist on a classic nursery rhyme by illustrating all the ways to work it. The story plays off the wheels on the bus, and it follows a drag queen who performs her routines in front of an awestruck audience. A fun frenzy of fierceness, this book will appeal to readers of all ages. Now that song is stuck in my head. Next book, Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber. Take that in. Some Guyan has always had a thick mane of hair. In the summer of 2016, he decided to grow a beard. So deep into month 3, he started to look like an armpit with eyeballs, okay? By the way, there's 5 books to this series, all right? I know Brenda. I don't know her beaver personally, but I think she shaves. Wax, girl, because your beaver needs a cut. Book number 4, The 2000s Made Me Gay. So today's gay youth have dozens of queer peer heroes, both fictional and real, but former gay teenager Grace Perry did not have that luxury. So instead, she had to search for her queerness in the largely straight teen cultural phenomenons, like Lindsay Lohan's Losing Her Mind, and Gossip Girl, Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl, country era Taylor Swift, and Seth Cohen jumping on a coffee cart. And of course, for better or worse, these touch points shaped her adult identity, and she came out to the other side like many millennials do. Gay as hell, or gay AF, like I like to say. Next book is Put Tony's Nuts in Your Mouth. What? Is that really the name of the book, guys? Really? All right. So, curious but not concerned as to where they would sleep that night, Bimisi Tayanida, and some guy in Bangladesh aimlessly meandered down the cobblestone calles of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. As the sun dipped into the Pacific, they found themselves sequestered by a weathered native nut peddler, presumably named Tony, who mimed towards his cart and through broken English, encouraged them to put Tony's nuts in your mouth. I mean, where do we go from here? Put them in your mouth. Put Tony's nuts in your mouth. I can't get Tony Lima out of my mind now. Putting his nuts in somebody's mouth. I don't know. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, Tony. Number 6, Spank the Monkey Lends a Hand. Spank the Monkey Lends a Hand is a fun and lighthearted story that everybody can relate to, except for you, of course, because you have no idea what everybody's laughing about, right? Wink, wink. If Spank is willing to help you, then you should let him. What do people do if they're used to masturbating with one hand and then they break that arm? Like, do they use the other hand or like, right? Doesn't it seem like you're cheating on your hand if you have sex with the other? Whatever. All right. Number 7. Show me your. Can I say this on our show?
Yes.
Okay. Show me your cock. It's not an invitation, it's the name of the book, people. Show Me Your Cock is a children's poetry book for adults about how a young boy is being shown several roosters. Mal pensados, what you guys all thought. Roosters throughout his lifetime. From his neighbor to his best friend, he is shown many different varieties of roosters. Everyone has, the cocks that guide their lives, right? And so did this guy. Number 8, Pray the Gay Away. Pray the Gay Away chronicles Michael and Zach as they face awkward sexual encounters, drug-fueled escapades, coming out to each other, and their biggest foe, the enemy numero uno, their mom. Yeah, Pray the Gay Away. Okay, well, check out that book and many, 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 many other wonderful books in your local library or on Amazon. That was the gayest and funniest book titles. Woohoo! So, have an idea or a story that you'd like to share? We want to hear all about it. Cuéntanos. And it might be featured in one of our upcoming segments on The FayWhat Show. Send them our way on our Instagram page at FayWhat YouTube or email us at info@faywhat.com. So, we had a wonderful show. I'd like to thank our incredible guest, Miss Rajee Narinesingh.
Yeah, you did
Close
it.
enough.
Close enough.
Close enough.
You,
Close enough.
You did it. You get an A.
God, you know how much I practiced that and it still came out bad? I'm going to start calling you Rajee N.
Oh, and I want to say shout out to Ariana Center.
Ariana Center.
Oh my
Hi.
God, Ariana.
We all need to go to Puerto Rico together.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
I keep trying to get in her. Well, she'll need a trunk for me, but I keep trying to get in her suitcase.
You're trying to get in her bag that she takes
I've
on
done
the
so
plane.
much work with her too.
I love Ariana. That's another great organization for anybody out there that's looking for some help. Ariana Center, TransSocial, everything that Rajee said. There's help out there, so please look out for that. So I also want to thank my producer, my director, Luis Luis Flores for doing everything that he does and making me sound better and look better every single week. Our project manager, David Fernandez, for being David Fernandez.
Yay!
I want to thank his hair for joining us too, because his hair is spectacular. And all of you for letting us do our thing every week. So make sure that you check us out next Tuesday at 7:30. We're going to have another great show. And don't forget to share, subscribe, and like us on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. All the social media outlets, all right? So living your life as your true, authentic self isn't always easy. And, you know, like Rajee was telling us about her journey, you know, folks try to say that this is all a choice, and it's not a choice. Life is easier for heteros. I'm sorry, it just is. Straight people, don't get mad at me, but it's the truth, you know? If you can be an ally for someone recently coming out, do it. Help someone through this journey. If you've gone through this journey, support somebody else. You know, go to a trans organization like TransSocial or Ariana Center. Tell them that you want to volunteer, you know, or tell them that you just want to get woke. They'll help you with that, you know? We got to come together. There should be no reason that the L, the G, the B, and the plus should not be out mad because of all the violence to our trans brothers and sisters, you know? Do your part like they did for us, because we are all in this together. Yo soy FayWhat, and on behalf of myself and the beautiful Miss Rajee, woohoo, woohoo! Thank you all for allowing me to be me every single week. I'm sending you love, peace, and happiness to all of you. Los quiero. Stay gay. Woo!